Hi, tarot lovers, it's Ethany, and I am here to share with you the first of my installments in a series around true love and the tarot. So I was really inspired to write this whole series, which actually just started out as one post, as a lot of clients will come to the tarot for advice and predictions on their love life. It's one of the main reasons I see clients, and I actually really love reading the cards around love. So I wanted to share some of the ideas that I have around the tarot and reading the cards for love and romance. So in part one, which is this video, I will be discussing the ideas of soulmates, the one, we often see that come up, and twin flames. And I'm going to chat about tarot cards for romantic love that I often associate with that in a reading, and some tarot card combinations for lovers. In part two, I'll be talking to you about getting out of your own way, aligning yourself for the right relationship, and what are the best questions to ask the tarot about love. And in part three, I'll be discussing expectations and sharing a new tarot spread for the lessons that we face in our relationships. So there's going to be a new part and a new video and blog post on this for the next 3 weeks. And before I get started, as with everything that I share, take what resonates with you and simply leave the rest. And with that, let's jump on in. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the almighty soulmate, the one, their twin flame, and the requests that I often get, and I'm sure I am not alone in this in the professional tarot community. The requests I get for finding that person and literally having a tracking number for someone's soulmate. I get the question daily, and I don't actually mind at all talking about finding the one. I think that is a huge part, well, the one as however you see it. It's a huge part of our life. That is a huge part of experiencing this human form and experiencing a human life. But in a nutshell, what my expectation or my understanding of that may be, it may be completely different. So we're going to have a look at the definition of that soulmate, perfect match, the one, and twin flames, so we can actually have a look at these concepts before we start asking the tarot to track those suckers down. So in a nutshell, a soulmate can be seen as someone who is a perfect match for you romantically. So a soulmate is someone who is going to match you, slot into your life, that you're going to hopefully grow old together with. And a twin flame is someone who is a reflection of who you are. Both of these connections usually come with a sense of immediate bond and recognition and can be extremely intense. These two connections are totally different kinds of relationships, however, but are often desired by people who are seeking love. So are you looking for the person who is a match for you, is the person who's going to complement you, or are you looking for the person who is going to be a reflection of you? So getting those sorts of things very clear in your life is going to be very important, because they are very different relationships. And definitions themselves are funny things, because outside of what is in a dictionary or book, we are going to see these concepts in different ways. We are going to have our cultural lens. We are going to have the lens of our environment, what we have believed in growing up, and what we also personally define these things as. I personally believe that we can have more than one soulmate because they may be fulfilling different soul contracts or agreements with us in our life. I also believe that there is no such thing as just the one. as in there's just the one sole person of the billions of people on this planet that we are meant to be in love with, and they may pass us by and we'll never get to have that experience. I don't believe that there is only ever just one person. As we shift and we change and we grow, our perfect person may change too. Whether that means that we are in a relationship with them and are evolving with them, or moving and expanding from our one, and that moves as well. So for example, I was totally in love with the person that I was in my first serious relationship with. I was totally in love with that person. We were together for 5 years and he was the one for me at that time. But that very same person wouldn't be the one for me now. I have grown and changed, and I'm sure he has too. We just wouldn't fit, we wouldn't fulfill the same contract with each other in 2017 as we would those many, many years ago. Again, this is how I see things. So the person you are reading your cards for, if you are a professional tarot reader, will also have their own way of looking at these concepts. So it is important to kind of keep that in mind. I often mention how I see love when I'm reading the cards for my clients. I do this because I get so many emails from clients worried that they have missed out on true love because the one has somehow gotten lost in the mail. On a spiritual level, I don't believe that we can do this, and I want to empower people to build and co-create the life that they desire. So before I even start shuffling the cards, I want to let them know that their reading is going to be about helping them find the one that is right for them and for the right kind of relationship that they are desiring, rather than preying on their fears that they missed out. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the other parts of the series. But just keep that in mind when you're going into a reading, that I've talked about, is someone scamming you or preying on your fears before as a reader doing that. Anyone who makes you feel like you have missed the boat when it comes to finding love, I find that real predatory behavior, and those sets up a ton of red flags. I read from an empowering place. I hope that you find someone, if you are looking for love and you do come to the tarot for a love reading, that also reads from an empowering place. I believe in building and co-creating a life that you desire and that you love. So I carry that with me into my readings for my clients. So I wanted to share with you the cards that I believe are really aligned with finding new love. I understand, I believe, and I teach that all tarot cards have something to share and impart with us about love, and all have messages about love. If romance and love is the subject and the context that you're reading, you can read each card in the tarot with that context, which is why I wrote the Bad Bitches Tarot Guide book that way. I broke it down into different pillars of life. And these meanings that I'm going to share with you today are not from the Bad Bitches Guide book. This is all new information. I'm just saying that I see the tarot being multifaceted. There are, however, cards and card combinations that are some of my quick keys that I look for in a romance reading. These are the cards that indicate to me that my client is on the right track for finding love. They're like my signposts. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Especially if I'm doing something where it's do I go this way or do I go that way? I will be looking for these keystone cards so that I know my client is going in the right direction. Okay, so the first one is the Lovers, which may be a little bit obvious, but it's true. So I've got the Bad Bitches Tarot and the Bonefire Tarot there. So this may be a little bit obvious here, but obvious can be good. Sometimes we want it to just be like the Lovers to be the Lovers. While the Lovers has many meanings outside of getting it on and being in a romantic relationship, in a romance reading, this is a fantastic card to have, especially when it's coming to new love. Major Arcana cards do have more weight in a reading, depending on how you read. This is how I read. And I always pay attention to the cards that surround the Lovers because of that extra weight that the card brings. You can find a lot about a future relationship with the cards that are around the lovers as well, especially court cards next to this card tell me a lot about the lover that is coming into my client's life, so I can get a profile of that person. It's a little technique that I have designed from many years of reading the cards. But the lovers, literally in a literal romance context, is a wonderful card to look out for new romance. The second one is the Ace of Cups. Now, I usually see this as more of a self-love card. Most of the time when this card comes up in a reading, it is like a sign from the universe that now is a really good time to start getting out there and meeting people. So aces are all about potential. They are the gift from the universe that we need to act on so that it manifests in our hot little hands or our hot little laps, hot little beds, woo, 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 and our hot little pants. Just improv that one on the fly. It's the time when we feel really good about ourselves, when we are feeling optimistic, when we're in the zone for finding love. It's also the honeymoon period of love if you have someone who is in just a brand new relationship, when you can't keep your sexy pants on and your hands away from each other, when you go off the grid and all your friends forget who you are because you're all loved up. So the Ace of Cups is a really, really great card. And I often do see this as I mentioned, the potential. So it's like the potential is out there, the vibe, perfect storm of love is gathering in the universe. It's time for you to go out there and claim it. Okay, the next one is the Two of Cups. Now, I see this as the true love card in the tarot. And I see this as the card that comes up for near perfect compatibility with each other. And I would actually rather see this card come up for a client over the lovers. Scandalous, no? But there is a reason for it. So lovers come and go, and lovers can just be lovers. Whereas with the true connection, the sharing of space and the commitment that comes with the Two of Cups, it can really go the distance. The Two of Cups shows that there is a genuine back and forth of love and affection. And there's also not an angel meddling like we see in a number of the lovers cards. So especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith, we have that angel coming in, or often in I've seen as well in in lovers cards, like a third person. So the Two of Cups is really that that yin yang, that give receive, that compatibility. And that's why I prefer to see that come up for my clients than the lovers sometimes. I want to see some good long-term love. And talking about long-term love, the Ten of Cups. So if you're looking for love, marriage, and long-term commitment, cohabitation, family, and just general all-around emotional fulfillment, this is the card that you want to see. It's a wonderful card for committed love and a happy relationship. So if I see this come up, I know that my client is moving towards a really good long-term relationship. And then my final card, my signpost card, all the cards have love meanings, as I said, but my final signpost card for new love is the Knight of Cups. So this is the hot date or five, a new love adventure, a new suitor. This is the romantic in my court card archetype. So whenever this hot little number shows up in a love reading, I know someone is about to get romanced and danced and wined and dined. And if they don't treat you like that, you kick them to the curb. We all deserve to feel special. So the Knight of Cups is the action. It is the moving forward of love. So this is a really great card for new love because it's literally like that romance is coming into your life and you're going to be getting a little bit romanced and maybe a little bit sexy timed. So those are my the five cards that I really look out for when it comes to new love in a reading. And here are some love combinations that you can use and maybe have a look at and see if they work for you in your tarot readings. So the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands usually means wedding bells, if weddings are your thing. So living together, building a life, a celebration of this relationship, moving from the 2 to the 4. So we've doubled up our numerology, and we've gone from the partnership to the foundation, to the really good solid structure. So the 2 of Cups and the 4 of Wands has always meant wedding bells and living together and building a life together. The Lovers and the Page of Cups for me usually signifies pregnancy. So if that's something that you want, that's fantastic. If that's something that is not planned, beware when that comes up. The Page of Cups, out of all of the pages in the tarot, and the pages for me often mean children, the Page of Cups is the one that is usually like the baby, like babies. The 10 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles represents for me a solid relationship that is going to go the distance and leave a legacy for the next generation. So you have the 10 of Cups, which is the emotional fulfillment, the 10 of Pentacles, which is the financial and the material fulfillment. So it means that we've manifested this emotion and this love into something physical and lasting, and that is going to be there for the next generation, because often we see in the 10 of Pentacles more than one generation represented in the card. The Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups is a summer lover or a short-term love. Meaningful? Sure. Lasting? No. Usually when I get these two come up, and often you can actually say the Ace of Cups in any of the Knights. This is like, oh, lovely, someone new is going to come into your life. It's going to be a real adventure. Things are going to be real fun. You're going to have a connection, but it's probably not going to last. Those Knights are constantly on the move. But definitely the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Cups are a summer lover or a short-term lover. So as I mentioned before, all of the tarot cards, and especially those in the cup suit, have a love meaning. Totally. So these are just some of the most important signposts in my tarot practice when it comes to finding love and new love. And there are plenty of combinations and cards that talk about keeping, building, and working through the hard parts of love. But that is for another time. I would love to hear, to hear from you about your love cards in the tarot and what you think of soulmates, twin flames, and the one. If you read about love as much as I do, and if you enjoy reading about love as much as I do. So tell me in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see your hot little self in part 2.